There is something strange that happens when a person truly decides to grow. They don't change their tone of voice. They don't provoke anyone. They don't step on anyone. And yet they start attracting envy, criticism, and rejection. This is no coincidence. Those chosen by God awaken reactions they never asked for, simply because their spiritual energy exposes what others prefer to ignore within themselves. Maybe you felt this firsthand. The more you try to grow, the heavier the environment feels. People close to you change, irony appears, criticism disguised as advice shows up, and even silent distancing happens. There's a deep sense of injustice, as if doing the right thing suddenly became a problem. But there is a deeper reason for this, and it has nothing to do with arrogance or being wrong. It has everything to do with positive energy, contrast, and spiritual responsibility. If this question already resonates with you, comment below. What was the biggest change you made that brought the most rejection? Like this video so it reaches other chosen ones, and subscribe to the channel. Because today you'll understand why this happens and how to deal with it without losing your strength. There is a silent moment in the lives of those chosen by God when everything seems to go wrong at once. People change, looks become heavier, the atmosphere feels off, and no one explains anything. That's when spiritual energy begins to reveal itself, because when God starts moving, the world reacts. It's not punishment or bad luck. It's the beginning of a process few understand, but many feel. And honestly, those who felt it know. It hurts, confuses, and provokes. He may have wondered why, when trying to evolve, he was met with coldness or irony. That sense of injustice hits hard, as if doing the right thing came with too high a price. But the chosen do not walk the path of comfort, they walk the path of purpose. When positive energy starts to shift, it disrupts everything around it. And that bothers those who prefer to live on autopilot. It's not persecution, it's contrast. And contrast always draws attention. And here's the part few talk about. Not everyone who smiles at you wants to see you move forward. Those chosen by God trigger reactions before saying a single word, because spiritual energy speaks louder than speeches. If this has happened to you, it's worth reflecting and leaving a comment if this feeling that something is changing is also part of your story. Because what comes next explains much more than it seems at first glance. Being chosen by God has nothing to do with being better than anyone else, even though many misunderstand this. In practice, it's almost the opposite. It means carrying more weight, sharper awareness, and an inner pressure that never shuts off. While many move through life on autopilot, the chosen feel a constant discomfort, as if something is whispering, "You can go further." This restlessness comes from spiritual energy pushing growth, even when growth hurts. The chosen are those who question patterns, reject shallow answers, and sense when something no longer fits. They seek personal, emotional, and even spiritual evolution, because living halfway no longer satisfies them. This positive energy starts changing habits, circles, and even conversations. Without realizing it, they outgrow old environments, not out of arrogance, but because growth requires space, and not everyone is willing to give up comfort. And here's the delicate part few warn you about. Not everyone will like this change. When you change, you disrupt the emotional comfort of those who don't want to change. The chosen by God become living reminders of what others avoid facing. This creates friction, silence, and sometimes quiet rejection. But this external discomfort is only the beginning of something deeper forming within relationships. At some point along the journey, those chosen by God notice something curious. Resistance doesn't come from strangers, but from people who were once close. Envy arises when someone sees in you what they wish they were, but didn't have the courage to build. It's not about your visible success, but your silent discipline. The consistency no one sees, yet everyone feels. Spiritual energy exposes wounds many preferred to keep hidden. It's common to see friendships cool without explanation. People who once supported you start mocking choices, minimizing achievements, or treating your plans like fantasy. That happens because your positive energy became an uncomfortable mirror. When you decide to change, study, evolve, or take better care of yourself, without saying a word, you've already said everything. To some, this feels like an accusation, even if it was never your intention. And here's a liberating truth. They don't hate you. They hate the mirror you've become. The chosen by God don't provoke envy by what they say, but by how they live. When someone starts pulling away or subtly attacking, it may not be loss, but revelation. And that revelation prepares you to understand why criticism soon becomes even louder. At a certain point, envy stops being silent and starts speaking. Criticism appears disguised as advice, but it carries a strange weight, as if trying to slow something already in motion. Those chosen by God feel this clearly. The more they advance, the more opinions appear. Not every criticism comes to help. Many are born from fear of seeing someone go where they never dared. Spiritual energy, when it grows, disturbs. Much of this criticism is projected frustration. People who quit early, settled, or constantly complain about the system start pointing out flaws in those who decided to try. It's interesting how those who criticize the most are rarely building anything greater. Those busy evolving don't have time to attack. It's a simple rule, and almost always true. The chosen must learn to distinguish correction from emotional sabotage. A practical tip is to observe the life of the critic. Does this person live what they preach? Do they act or only talk? When positive energy aligns with purpose, criticism loses power, but the test remains. And it's right here that many confuse criticism with rejection, not realizing something deeper is unfolding. When rejection arrives, it's usually interpreted as failure, abandonment, or injustice. But for those chosen by God, rejection is rarely punishment. It's preparation. It hurts because it dismantles bonds, breaks expectations, and forces you to walk alone for a while. Still, there's a silent purpose in this process. Spiritual energy begins separating what can no longer support the next phase. Not everything that leaves takes loss with it. This is when people simply disappear. No fights, no confrontations, just distance. And that's confusing because it feels like loss. But over time, it becomes clear that the right people stay effortlessly, while the wrong ones drift away naturally. Positive energy doesn't force connections, it filters them. When God elevates someone, He cleans the path first, even if it hurts more than expected. There's a phrase the chosen learn in real life. Not every loss is damage. Some are protection. Rejection removes distractions, emotional dependencies, and fragile bonds. It strengthens identity before strengthening results. And it's exactly in this strategic solitude that a silent mistake appears. One made by many who still haven't understood their mission. But after so much rejection and criticism, many chosen by God fall into a subtle trap, trying to please everyone. The need arises to over-explain, justify decisions, and prove good intentions. But this comes at a high cost. Every unnecessary explanation drains spiritual energy and weakens posture. Positive energy, when divided, loses strength and clarity. This behavior is born from fear of being misunderstood, but it only opens the door to more attacks. Those who have already decided not to understand you aren't listening. They're waiting for you to expose yourself. When the chosen start explaining too much, they hand emotional control to people who shouldn't have it. There's a huge difference between transparency and defensiveness, and many learn this too late. A direct truth must be said. You don't need to justify yourself to those who've already chosen not to understand you. Silence in this case isn't weakness, it's strategy. Spiritual energy is preserved through boundaries, not overexposure. And when this mistake is corrected, something completely changes in behavior, aligning the chosen with a higher purpose. When those chosen by God understand they don't need to convince anyone, their posture shifts. Strategic silence emerges, observing more than reacting. Instead of arguing, they act. Instead of explaining, they build. Spiritual energy strengthens through consistency, even without applause. That's when emotional maturity appears naturally. A simple yet powerful practice is observing who criticizes you precisely when you grow, not to judge but to recognize patterns. Listening doesn't mean absorbing. The chosen learn to filter opinions like water. What's clean stays, what contaminates goes. This protects positive energy and prevents outside voices from stealing focus. Continuing despite criticism is an act of silent courage. Time always reveals who was right. Those who remain consistent, even when questioned, move forward while others stay stuck. The chosen don't need announcements. Results speak. And when this posture holds long enough, something even deeper begins to rise internally. There comes a point when those chosen by God understand that the journey is indeed solitary. And that's not a flaw. It's in this silence that identity strengthens and spiritual energy aligns with something greater. Those who depend on applause become prisoners of opinion. Those with purpose learn to walk without witnesses. Solitude stops being punishment and becomes refinement. The chosen don't need to be seen constantly. They need to be grounded. Positive energy grows when a person knows who they are, where they're going, and why they started. Many will interpret this withdrawal as coldness, distance, or arrogance, but it's actually focus. When the mind strengthens, external noise loses power, and that changes everything inside. There's a clear sign someone has moved forward. People start talking. Comments appear, judgments multiply, opinions spread. That's not bad luck. It's evidence of movement. If they're talking about you, it's because you've left your old place behind. And when this awareness settles in, the chosen realize it's time to fully assume their position. If all of this resonated, it's because this message touched a wound that already existed. Those chosen by God carry stories of loss, distancing, and change that few ever see. Yet these stories shape who they become. Spiritual energy doesn't draw attention through noise, but through silent impact. Recognizing this is already a powerful step. Maybe you've lost someone after deciding to change, grow, or leave autopilot. And this question isn't rhetorical, it's personal. Have you lost someone after choosing to change? Answering in the comments helps not only you, but others who realize they're not alone. Positive energy strengthens when stories connect. If this message spoke to you, leave a like now. It helps this content reach other chosen ones. Subscribe to the channel and stay close, because the next video goes even deeper into this path of awareness, purpose, and inner strength. If you've made it this far, you already know none of this is accidental. Envy, criticism, and rejection don't appear because you failed, but because you chose not to stay the same. Those chosen by God are called to a higher level of awareness, and that requires courage to sustain spiritual energy even when the environment tries to pull you down. Now the question is simple and direct. What will you do with everything you've learned? Look at your life honestly. Who have you been listening to? What have you allowed into your mind that affects your positive energy? Growth demands hard choices, strategic silence, and consistency when no one applauds. Agreeing with this message but living the same way tomorrow changes nothing. What concrete action can you take today to protect your energy and keep moving forward, even without approval? If this message awakens something in you, don't let it die here. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep strengthening yourself with content about purpose, awareness, and real growth. And tell me in the comments, what was the greatest rejection you faced after deciding to change? Sometimes sharing is the first step toward transformation.